Board of Education of Perry Local School District is called to order at 5:45 p.m. in the Talbot Center Conference Room. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Seoli here. Mrs. Foley
Here.
Mr. Leidick
Here.
Mr. Roberts
Here.
Mrs. Preston.
Here. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Superintendent spotlight.
Thank you. Director. Well, hey, January is Board of Education recognition. So at this time, I'd like to publicly convey our sincere appreciation to our board members for their commitment to doing whatever it takes to ensure we maximize our students' education opportunities and follow our mission. For the work they do, the Ohio School Board Association has sent certificates of appreciation for each of our board members, and I would like to present them to you at this time. And we do sincerely appreciate all the work. It's a little bit thankless at times, but we couldn't be here without you. So there you go. Also, congratulations to our finalists in the Perry Spelling Bee that concluded last week. It was one of the most thrilling spelling bees I have seen in a long, long time. 26 rounds, I believe it went, pretty impressive. And so special congratulations to our second runner-up, Leona Seoli, our first runner-up, Evangeline Hine, and our winner, who will go to compete at the Lake County Spelling Bee on Thursday, February 1st, Alex Searson. And we wish him the best and know he'll represent Perry well. And again, great job to our advisors, Tammy Roberts and Amy Dason here for just such a well-run program. Very exciting stuff. Our registration guides for next year are on tonight's agenda. So here we go. As the planning is well underway for the 24-25 school year. And again, we appreciate all the work from the buildings that goes into preparing these guidelines. And so our students can think about what they're taking next year and getting ready to get those classes scheduled. And then Eastern Lake County Chamber of Commerce Awards, I'd like to congratulate the Business of the Year, Global Real Estate Advisors. And the winner of the Beacon Award this year is the Painesville Railroad Museum. And they will be honored Thursday, January 25th. At our last board meeting, we approved 2 resolutions that are going to be presented, I believe, by Mrs. Capo and Mrs. Seoli. So thank you for representing us at this event. Very nice. And lastly, we've had more of a typical January this year than last year, and we've had a few calamity days. Today was a little dicey with the ice, and I appreciate the efforts to get our kids here safely. And most of all, I just want to take a moment to express our gratitude and appreciation to our custodial staff and our maintenance crew. They're here at 4 a.m. getting things ready. They did 3 rounds of salting this morning to try to prevent anybody from slipping. And when it was snowing the last few, couple weeks, they were here clearing and getting this campus ready for us. So again, we're thinking about when they're out there getting this done early in the morning so we can come to school. So that concludes my administrative spotlight.
Okay, do you have any committee reports? And yet, is that your administrative update as well, or do you have more?
That was it. I apologize.
Okay, no, that's fine.
Yes.
Public participation. Thank you. Ms. Grega.
Hey there.
Hi.
I just wanted to make a quick, I'm sorry, Jennifer Grega, 4039
And
Southbridge
excuse
Road.
me for 1 second. I'm gonna just to stay with our policy, I'm gonna set the timer. So
That's
if
fine.
that happens, we have a 3-minute, according to our policy, 3 minutes for public participation for each participant. So I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're fine. So same thing, I know I have to state my address, so Jennifer Grega, 4039 Southbridge Road here in Perry. My comment, I just wanted to add on to from the approval of the draft calendar for 2024-25. So for the meeting of 12/19, My comment kind of reflected what I had mentioned before about streamlining drop off, like supplies and scheduling. It was to talk about how, like, this year, we went to parent teacher conferences after the first grading period. So I just wanted to ask the board if you could, when you're looking at that schedule, also think about that time flow and maybe looking at, because I know the union would have to approve the extra hours and extra time, setting that information ahead of time. So you aren't kind of scrambling on the back end. For this time, it was mid-second grading report that we were seeing some of our teachers for the first time are getting any information whatsoever. I've even had a personal situation where hadn't heard from a teacher the entire school year. And the day after the grades dropped on the second grading period, one of my children got an NM, like a not meeting, so essentially a fail with no communication whatsoever. So that's just something where I know how active you all are on watching the calendar and how important it is for our children's wellness. That's a big part. If the parent doesn't know, because my kids never really tell me other than Connor, if I could ask how's school, it was great. Oh, you can have a snack. That's really it. So it was more of like a friendly comment than to keep that on the radar. I don't know if it's just elementary, that's where all my kiddos are, but it was something where first grading period had passed before we got there. That was all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And the consent agenda, the board is asked to approve the minutes from the regular meeting of December 19th, 2023. The board hereby waives public reading of these minutes and shall post them accordingly. Item B, approval of professional development stipend pursuant to the 2023-26 OT Local 367 negotiated agreement. The board is asked to approve a flat sum of $600 for the employees listed who have successfully completed 20 or more contact hours of pre-approved professional development offerings as recommended by the local superintendent and assistant superintendent. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda items A and B? Roll call, please. Oh, I'm sorry, discussion. Okay, roll call, please.
Mrs. Foley,
Yes.
Mr. Leidig,
Yes.
Mr. Roberts,
Yes.
Mrs. Chester,
Yes.
Mrs. Field.
Yes. Superintendent's report?
Thank you. A few items for you tonight. Under A, personnel approval appointments, the board is asked to approve the employment of the individual listed for the position indicated, pending successful completion of required employment paperwork, certification training, and background check as recommended by the local superintendent. B, personnel approval appointment athletic supplemental. The board is asked to approve the employment of the individuals listed for the 23-24 athletic supplemental positions and rate of pay indicated, pending successful completion of required employment paperwork, certification training, and background check as recommended by the local superintendent and athletic director. C, personnel approval of appointment athletic volunteer. Board is asked to approve the individual listed as a volunteer for the 23-24 sport noted, pending successful completion of background check and certification as recommended by the local superintendent and athletic director. D, personnel approval of appointment substitutes. The board is asked to approve the individual noted for the 23-24 daily substitute position listed as recommended by the local superintendent and assistant superintendent. E, we have approval of the 24-25 PHS registration guide. The board is asked to approve the PHS 24-25 registration guide as recommended by the local superintendent, building principal, and assistant superintendent. F, approval of 24-25 PMS registration guide. The board is asked to approve the PMS 24-25 registration guide as recommended by the local superintendent, building principal, and assistant superintendent. G, approval of out-of-state travel baseball. The board is asked to approve the out-of-state travel to Mesa, Arizona for the PHS baseball team to attend practices and games from March 23rd to March 29th, 2024, which is our spring break, as recommended by the local superintendent and athletic director. H, approval of out-of-state travel softball. The board is asked to approve out-of-state travel to Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, for the PHS softball team to attend practices, scrimmages, and games at the Ripken Experience from March 24th to the 28th, 2024, which is spring break, as recommended by the local superintendent and athletic director. I, approval of membership for the 2024-25 OHSAA membership. The board is asked to approve the following resolution authorizing the Perry Local School District to continue its membership in the Ohio High School Athletic Association for the 2024-25 school year, as recommended by the local superintendent and athletic director. And J, approval of state professional development in New Hampshire. The board is asked to approve out-of-state travel for Rachel Melky to attend a SWAM workshop retreat in New Hampshire, September 4th through the 8th, 2024, as recommended by the local superintendent and building principal. This is at no cost to the district other than the substitute that would be needed to cover Mrs. Melky's classes for 3 days. This concludes my superintendent's report.
Okay, do we have a motion? Any discussion?
Yeah, I do have a question. I believe because we're volunteers, listed as volunteers, we can't vote on the sports that we're volunteering for.
Right.
Right, so I don't know how you want to do that.
Okay, we'll have to break it out, because then
I'm
you're
saying-
volunteering for baseball, so you would be able to vote on the baseball one, and you would be
Yeah.
able to vote on softball.
Right, so why don't we just put those two out?
Okay,
Volunteer.
Tiffany was on the agenda last week, or last time.
to approve the
We
trip.
didn't pull it out because you weren't getting compensated. That's what Lou.
Right, and Lou said we can't, if you're volunteering or working for a sport, you can't vote for something that could benefit that sport.
So to vote for the trip.
I think it's the vote for
I
the
thought
trip.
you were.
No, not about that.
You
I
wanna pull
think-
those out?
I'm not 100%, but I mean, to be
It's better to be
safe,
safe, yeah, right.
just pull those two out and
Yes.
then vote on, I mean, however you want to do it. But do we have to change the motion?
Okay, so. Does anyone, who made the motion?
I
Yes, we
did.
did.
Can I have a motion to approve items A,
Okay, but not G or H.
yes, A to K excluding G and H?
We'll move.
Second.
Okay, discussion.
One other question. If we need to change the registration guides or anything needs to change, we have the authority or the district has the authority to change that, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, so we,
They can change.
yeah, they're not,
Yeah, we typically have a paragraph in both the student handbook and the registration guide that talks about the process for change, which
Okay.
is through the superintendent.
I do have a question about the PHS registration guide, the removal of differential and help. It was unclear from CCP.
Yeah, from CCP, we haven't had a student take it in a while. It will still be, somebody can still register through Lakeland, but as far as it being offered as a part of like we put out there and that we host, it hasn't
Gotcha.
run for a number of years.
Okay, perfect.
But a student could still take it through Lakeland or Lake Erie.
Because so with what we have in-house, a student could potentially max out their math their junior year, is that correct?
Correct,
If they go algebra 1, 2 as an 8th grader with all the offerings.
correct.
anyone else? Okay, can we have roll call, please?
Mr. Leidig,
Yes.
Mr. Roberts,
Yes.
Mrs. Truster,
Yes.
Mrs. Seoli,
Yes.
and Mrs. Foley.
Yes,
Do I have a motion for G and H? Discussion. I have a question. The spring break softball trip, that is overnight supervised by parents or coaches?
Assuming coaches.
Okay, yeah, it looks like they're all staying in the same cabin together, so I just wanted to make sure that we know what we're voting on and that is being supervised by the coaches on the trip. So just to make sure we're clear.
Am I permitted to add an additional response to Kathleen's question about math?
Sure.
Is that appropriate?
And we voted on it already, but
Is that
yeah.
going to change the vote? I think your question was, would they max out by the junior year, right?
With what we offer
And
and
we offer, but certainly not with what they can do beyond your.
correct.
Yeah, yeah. Correct. Sky's the limit.
Okay, can we have a roll call for items G and H, please?
Mr. Roberts,
Yes.
Mrs. Truster,
Yes,
and Mrs. Seoli.
Yes.
and then you call them to
Excuse me.
abstain.
Oh, sorry, Mr. Leidig
I'm saying.
and Mrs. Foley.
same.
Okay, you have an addendum, Dr. Thompson?
Yes, it is. And we have, under personnel, we have a request for an acceptance of retirement. The board is asked to accept the retirement of the employee listed from the position indicated as recommended by the local superintendent and building principal. And we have, acceptance of the resignation. The board is asked to accept the resignation of the employee listed from the position indicated as recommended by the local superintendent and director of services. And we have one more out-of-state travel. The board is asked to approve the out-of-state travel for Robert Nisley to participate in the Union Change Network, shaping the future of learner center leadership sessions noted below, as recommended by the local superintendent. This would be at no cost to the district. This concludes my superintendent's addendum report.
Okay, do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Roll call please.
Mrs. Gilly,
Yes.
Mrs. Foley,
Yes.
Mr. Leidig,
Yes.
Mr. Roberts,
Yes.
Mrs. Truster.
Yes. And Chief Financial Officer report, Ms. Campbell?
Thank you. A, approval of financial reports. The board is asked to approve the financial reports from December 2023 as recommended by the chief financial officer. B, approval of tax rates. The board is asked to accept the amounts and rates listed as determined by the Lake County Budget Commission, authorized by the necessary tax levies and authorize the chief financial officer to certify them to the county auditor as recommended by the chief financial officer. C, approval for expenditure Siemens. The board is asked to approve an expenditure in the amount of $207,670.30 to Siemens Industry for district surveillance phase 2 upgrade under the Sourcewell contract, as recommended by the chief financial officer and the director of maintenance and operations. And that's the final phase of our district-wide surveillance camera upgrade. The first half was all paid for by $300,000 in safety grants that Mr. Smith had secured for the district. And that concludes my chief financial officer report.
Okay, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Any discussion?
Yeah, are we, the safety, there's another safety grant out, right?
Not like that one,
Not like that one?
no.
It's per student, right? Per pupil?
Yeah, there's one from the Attorney General's office, it's like $4.50 per student, I think. So I think we'd get just over $6,000 if we apply for it. So
Oh,
No salaries.
thank
but
you.
we are currently looking for more.
Yeah.
grants.
Okay, was just curious, thank you.
Anyone else? Anything? Okay, roll call please.
Mr. Roberts,
Yes.
Mrs. Truster.
Yes.
Mrs. Gilly.
Yes.
Mrs. Foley.
Yes.
And Mr. Leidig.
Yes.
And you have an addendum, Ms. Campbell?
I do. A, approval of contract agreement Lakeland CCIT. The board is asked to approve the 2024-2025 College Credit Plus agreement with Lakeland Community College as recommended by the chief financial officer, local superintendent, and assistant superintendent. And that concludes my chief financial officer addendum.
Okay, do we have a motion?
Second.
Any discussion?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch who I,
Mrs. Gilly.
in the 2 seconds.
I do.
So any discussion? Okay, can we have roll call please?
Mrs. Foley.
Yeah.
Mr. Leidig.
Yes.
Mr. Roberts.
Yeah.
Mrs. Truster.
Yes.
And Mrs. Gilly.
Yes.
And any unfinished business? New business? Correspondence and announcements, there are no communications to the board, so upcoming events and meetings. We have the next regular Board of Education meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, February 20th, 2024 at 5:45 PM in the Torbuck Center Conference Room. Do you have any public participation? Do I have a motion to adjourn? Roll call please.
Mrs. Truster.
Yes.
Mrs. Gilly.
Yes.
Mrs. Foley.
Yeah.
Mr. Leidig.
Yes.
Mr. Roberts.
Yes.
What time was that?
That was at 6:04 PM.